Hey guys, it's Alex back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the iPhone 13 Pro Max. So I have been using this thing for about 2 weeks now, so since it came out, and I was switching from the 12 Pro. So there are three things that I noticed that are different, and obviously, compared to my 12 Pro, the notch is smaller. That's simple. Something I do wish though is since Apple did make the notch smaller, I do wish that they had actually put the battery percentage because there was enough space. So maybe in the future, because that's probably something that they could do with software, but we'll have to wait and see. Alright, so another thing that I noticed is obviously the bigger camera bump. And this is really great, and I also do notice substantially that the cameras are better and some new features. Now, since I'm switching from the regular 12 Pro, I did not have all the stuff that the Pro Max last year had, but now I'm getting to experience some of that with this. Now, I'll talk about this more in like a camera comparison with the iPhone 12 Pro, which I do plan on doing, because that's just something that I want to do, and I like doing camera tests. They're some of the funnest things to do, honestly. Go out, take some pictures. So I actually have always been using the Spigen Ultra Hybrid. I really like using this case, and I had one on my 12 Pro, if you can see, so obviously I do. Now, I did go with the graphite color this year just because I was not feeling that Sierra Blue when I was looking at pre-orders, but then I looked at that Sierra Blue in person and the Sierra Blue looks great, so maybe I do regret my decision there, but you know what? Graphite, not bad. So another thing that I noticed obviously is that 120 Hz, it is buttery smooth. Now obviously I've experienced it on some phones like Samsung and OnePlus 9 Pro and stuff like that, but on an iPhone, when I pick up this phone and then I pick up my 12 Pro and I go to use my 12 Pro, I really notice how much slower it is on the 12 Pro compared to using my iPhone 13 Pro Max. So that is a big difference. I'm not sure if many consumers are going to actually notice the difference, but to me, obviously I do. Also, I notice how much bulkier this phone feels. It's so much heavier than the 12 Pro, and honestly, that could be because of the new cameras, because the camera bump is much bigger and the camera lenses stick out much further, so you have to be careful when buying a case. You have to make sure that it protects the camera. So that's something that I noticed. It definitely does have a lot more heft to it, which I do like that, and honestly, for it having more weight, I honestly like that, because I'll take the better cameras on this over my phone weighing less. Now, obviously, I bet the regular 13 Pro is great, and also the blue on the regular 13 looks very good, so if you're going to get a regular 13, I definitely recommend the blue color. So, it seems like Apple's really loving this whole blue thing, because that's 2 years in a row that they have actually focused on the color blue. Really hoping they bring back some sort of green at some point, since they did just come out with the Green Series 7, which I think looks really cool, but obviously I'm not upgrading. So, another thing that I do notice is that I think that the phone is actually a little bit thicker than the 12 Pro. It definitely is a little bit thicker, but it's very hard to notice. I could be wrong, honestly, but I feel like it is a little bit thicker. So, that is also something that I notice, as well as I do notice that Apple has fixed some of like the bugs that my 12 Pro had, which I like. That's probably software though, so that's probably with iOS 15 and stuff like that. Now, I do think that this is a very small upgrade for some people, but I think if you're upgrading from like an 11 Pro or something, it'll be a much bigger upgrade for you. But honestly, I don't regret upgrading. I really am enjoying the new display. It's honestly great with the 120 Hz. Now, that is one downside. If you want to spend less money, the regular 13, that does not come with 120 Hz. So if you're trying to get a new phone for 120 Hz, then you're going to have to go with something like the 13 Pro, which starts at $999. But obviously, I think it's worth it for 120 Hz, but if, 120 Hz isn't for everybody. 60 Hz is perfectly fine, and now that we have 120 Hz, we're complaining about 60 Hz on the iPhone, and before, we didn't have 120 Hz on an iPhone, so it's honestly a big difference to me. So that's honestly just your opinion. It's just your personal preference. Get what you want. So, you can't go wrong with any of the new iPhones this year. I think all of them are great. Now, I personally am using the 13 Pro Max, but that's just because of what I do. But you definitely cannot go wrong with any of the new iPhones this year. So I'll talk about more stuff in my full review, but this has pretty much been it for my impressions after 2 weeks of using my 13 Pro Max. So, like always, please subscribe, and I guess I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Oh, also, by the way, I am a little bit sick, so that's why I sound like this right now. So next video, I'll sound better. Alright, see ya.